Hi, good morning. Under GST, today we are going to discuss concept of supply. Supply is very important. Why? Because the liability of GST shall arise on the basis of supply. Once a supply happens, the liability of GST shall arise. If there is no supply of goods or services, then there is no liability of GST shall arise. In this chapter, we are going to discuss the following sections. Section 7, meaning and supply, scope of supply, and section 8, taxability of composite and mixed supplies, and schedule 1, activities, that is activities to be treated as a supply even if made without consideration. Then schedule 2, activities are a transaction to be treated as a supply of goods or services. Schedule 3, activities or transactions shall be treated as neither supply of goods nor supply of services, that is nothing but negative list. One by one we are going to discuss. First, meaning and scope of supply. What is the meaning of supply? Supply means all forms of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease or disposal, made or agreed to be made for a consideration by a person in the course or furtherance of business. For qualify as a supply, it should be made for or agreed to be made for a consideration. It is always made for a consideration, it will qualify as a supply. And second one, it shall be in the course or furtherance of a business. If I have a old laptop, I am selling my old laptop to some other person. It is not in the course of business, so it shall not qualify as a supply. And one more point, it shall be made or agreed to be made for a consideration. If a laptop dealer is selling his laptop for a free of cost, it is a free of cost means no consideration. Made or agreed to be made for a consideration only, it will qualify as a supply. But it is given as a free of cost. But therefore, it will not qualify as a supply. That means all forms of supply of goods or services are both, such as sale, transfer. Transfer means the ownership right shall be transferred. If I am selling that example, XYZ company is selling laptops, that means he is selling the laptop and ownership of that laptop is transferred to some other person. Then only it will be qualified as a supply. Then third one, barter. Barter means if I have a printer, I have given the printer to dealer of laptops and I can get the laptop for the printer. That means I have given the printer, I can get the laptop. That is a barter only. Exchange. Exchange means I have old Maruti car. I have given that old Maruti car for exchange of new branded Maruti car. This is an exchange of cars. Then license, rental, lease. That means rental, license, lease means I have one big commercial complex in very prominent place. I have given that big commercial complex on rent. For that I am getting some consideration. That is nothing but rental. That means all forms of supply of goods or services are both, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease or disposal, made or agreed to be made for a consideration. It should be for a consideration by a person or in the course of business. If it is not in the course of business, it shall not qualify as a supply. It should be in the course of business. It should be for a consideration only. Then second point B, importation of services for a consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. If I am importing services for a consideration, if it is in the course or furtherance of business, it shall qualify as a supply. For example, I am constructing a house. For constructing a house, I have taken architectural services from a person located in America, and I have paid 1 lakh rupees. That means I have taken importation of services and I have paid consideration also. But it is not in the course or furtherance of business. Even though if it is not in the course or furtherance of business, it will qualify as a supply. Why? Because once it is importation of service, it is for a consideration. Understand? That means importation of service for a consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business, it shall qualify as a supply. The third, the activities specified in Schedule 1 made or agreed to be made without consideration. I have made some transactions or activities. That activities are specified in Schedule 1. If any activities or transactions specified in Schedule 1 and I have supplied such transactions without consideration also, it shall be treated as a supply. That means any activity specified in Schedule 1 and supply is made without consideration shall be treated as a supply. I think you are understand. We are going to next one. And Schedule 2. Schedule 2 means the government has classified whether a particular transaction is a supply of goods or supply of services only. It's only classification whether it is a supply of goods or supply of services. I can read that one. Where certain activities or transactions constitute a supply in accordance with the provisions of subsection 1, they shall be treated either as a supply of goods or supply of service as referred in Schedule 2. Schedule 2 clearly classifies whether a particular transaction is a supply of goods or supply of services only. That Schedule 3. Schedule 3 means any activities or transaction undertaken by central government or state government or union territorial government or a local authority, they are treated as neither supply of goods nor supply of services. I can read now. Notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, activities or transactions specified in Schedule 3, such activities or transactions undertaken by the central government, state government or any local authority in which they are engaged as a public entities may be notified by the central government on the recommendations of the company shall be treated neither as a supply of goods nor supply of services. That means any activities or transactions undertaken by central government, undertaken by state government or central government or local authority shall be treated neither as a supply of goods nor as a supply of service. It shall be mentioned in Schedule 3. What are the Schedule 3 activities? It is nothing but negative list. Okay, understand? We'll go next. Schedule 1. Activities to be treated as a supply even if made without consideration. If it is mentioned in Schedule 1 activities, if I am supplying such one, it shall be treated as a supply even without consideration also. That one by one we are discussing. Permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where input tax credit has been availed on such asset. For example, XYZ company has purchased a machine at 1 year back. At the time of purchase, they have taken input tax credit. When they are selling such asset, they have to, when they are selling such asset, when they are transferring such asset to his business, another business unit, it shall be treated as a supply without consideration also. And one more example I am telling you. XYZ company is using one laptop, and such laptop after 2 years such laptop is not working well. Such laptop is given to one of his employees free of cost. Means that is treated as a supply. Even the laptop is given to employee without consideration shall be treated as a supply. On that GST has to be paid by the XYZ company only. That means permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where the input tax credit has been availed on such asset. At the time of purchase, any input tax credit has been taken on such asset. When they are selling without consideration, it shall be treated as a supply of goods and tax shall be paid accordingly. I think you understand. Next one. Supply of goods or services are both between the related person or between the distinct persons as specified in section 25 when made in the course or furtherance of business. Second one, provided that gifts not exceeding 50,000 rupees in a value in a financial year by an employer to employee shall not be treated as a supply of goods or services. What is that one is, any employer is given gift to his employee for less than 50,000, it shall not be treated as a supply of goods in a financial year only. For a financial year, if any gift is given by the employer to employee for a value exceeding 50,000, it shall be treated as a supply. If it is less than 50,000, it shall not be treated as a supply. The supply of goods or services are both between the related person or between the distinct person. For example, XYZ company has one unit located in Chennai and one unit located in Karnataka, that is Bangalore. Any supplies made by Chennai to Karnataka, that is Bangalore, shall be treated as a supply even without consideration. That is, Karnataka unit supplying goods to the Chennai unit without consideration, it shall be treated as a supply for the purpose of payment of GST. That should be treated as a supply. Then, third point, supply of goods by a principal to his agent, where the agent undertake to supply such goods on behalf of the supplier, by an agent to his principal, where the agent undertake to receive such goods on behalf of the principal. I can explain with better example. An oil manufacturing company has located in Maharashtra, Bombay, is appointing one agent located in Delhi for sale of their oils. That means they are supplying oils from Bombay to the Delhi, since the agent is located in Delhi, without consideration. After that only agent will sell the oils and the payment has been remitted to the principal. In such a case, principal is sending such goods to his agent without consideration. In such a case, it shall be treated as a supply even without consideration also. And one more point, if a agent is sending some goods to the principal, it shall be treated as a supply even without consideration. That means by a principal is sending goods to the agent or agent is sending goods to the principal, it shall be treated as a supply of goods even without consideration also. I can give the same with better examples we are discussing in the coming chapter. And importation of services. Importation of services is very important point. If import of services by a person from a related person or from any of his other establishment outside India in the course or furtherance of business. If it is in the course or furtherance of business, if it is received from a related person, shall always be taxable. If it is import of services, for a consideration is always taxable. If it is received from a related undertaking, if it is received from other than related person, if it is received from related person, if it is not received from related person, if it is for a consideration is always taxable. Once importation of services from a related undertakings, from other than a related undertakings, and if it is for a consideration, it is always taxable. For without consideration, what is tax? For without consideration, importation of service received from a related undertakings or from any of his establishment outside India, it shall be taxable without consideration. If any importation of services received from other than related person and there is no consideration, in such a case not taxable. That means any importation of service from a related undertakings with or without consideration is always taxable. For a related for other than a related person, if it is for a consideration, is always taxable. For other than a related person, if it is not for consideration, it is not taxable. I think you have a better idea now. Then examples. Example of exchange mentioned when a new car worth 5 lakhs is purchased in the exchange of an old car, along with the monetary consideration of 4 lakh was paid for this same. It's only exchange example. Then some of the examples of in the course or furtherance of business are as follows. Rishabh buys a car for his personal use and after a year sell it to car dealer. Sale of car by Rishabh to car dealer is not a supply because Rishabh is already used the such car. He is selling such car to any other person. It is not in the course or furtherance of business. Once it is not in the course or furtherance of business, it is not a supply. The same it is explained here. Rishabh buys a car for personal use and after a year sell it to car dealer. Sale of car by Rishabh to car dealer is not a supply under CGST Act. because the said supply is not made by the Rishabh in the course of furtherance of business. Same point. And second one, Manikarnika sold her old bangles and earrings to Abhushan jewelers. Sale of old gold jewelry by an individual to a jeweler will not constitute a supply, as the same cannot be in the course or furtherance of business. That means Manikarnika is selling his gold bangles to some other person. It is not in the course or furtherance of business. Once it is not in the course or furtherance of business, it will not qualify as a sale. It will not qualify as a supply. Therefore, no GST is paid on such product. Okay, na? Next example. Sundaram Acharya, a famous actor, paints some painting and sells them. The consideration from such sales is to be donated charitable trust. Okay. The charitable trust name Kind Human. The sale of painting by the actor qualifies as a supplier. That means Sundaram is a famous actor and he is painting. He has sold such painting and consideration is also received. Here ownership is transferred to some other person and it is in the course or furtherance of business and consideration also received. Once a consideration is received and it is in the course or furtherance of business, it shall qualify as a supply. Even such amount has been used for his personal purpose, even such amount has donated for charitable trust, it is irrespective. It is not required. Once it is a sale or not, once it is ownership is transferred or not, once it is in the course or furtherance of business or not, once it is a consideration received or not, if all conditions are satisfied, it is a supply only. Got? Next example. Services provided by the club association to its member for consideration is a supply. A resident welfare association provides the service of depositing the electricity bills of the residents in lieu of some nominal charges. Provision of service by club or association or society to its member is treated as a supply, as this is included in the definition of business. That means club or association is charging some nominal fee for doing some some work that is in the course of furtherance of business. A nominal fees means consideration is received. Once consideration is received, and second one, it is in the course of furtherance of business, then it is qualified as a supply. Suppose if the association is does not charge any amount, only exact amount whatever they have paid to the electricity department, the same amount charged from the resident of that complex, then it is not qualified as a asset because no consideration is received. Same amount they are paying to, they are collecting from the members and they are paying to the electricity department. In such, there is no consideration received. In such a case, it shall not qualify as a supply. But here they are charging some nominal fee, but that means consideration has been received. It is in the course or furtherance of business. Therefore, it shall qualify as a supply. And related persons that I am discussing. First example, Mr. Priya holds 30% shares of ABC Limited and 35% shares of XYZ Limited, and ABC and XYZ Limited are related. That means, and Priya, one person is holding more than 25% shares in any other company, that two companies shall be treated as a related company. But Priya and ABC is not related, and Priya and XYZ also not related. And Priya controls these two companies. Priya has invested more than 25% in these two companies. So these two companies shall be treated as a related companies. Understand? Okay. Q Limited has a deciding role in corporate policy, operation management and quality control of R Limited. It can be said that Q controls R Limited, thus Q and R are limited. Are related. If any person is controlling another company, then these two companies shall be treated as a related companies. Some Q companies here, Q company is controlling the S company. Therefore, Q are related companies. Q and R are related companies. Okay. Next. Mohan, a chartered accountant, has a registered office in Delhi. He has also obtained registration in the state of West Bengal. Okay, Calcutta maybe. Therefore, they are treated as a distinct person in respect of registrations in West Bengal and Delhi. Same person, he has obtained one registration under same PAN number. He has obtained one registration in Delhi and the registration in West Bengal. So, therefore, these two companies shall be treated as distinct persons of the same establishment. That they are treated as a distinct person, but of the same establishment. One under the same one establishment, these two are treated as a distinct persons. One more example. Rishabh Enterprises, a registered supplier, owns an air conditioner restaurant in Virar, Maharashtra. Okay. It has opened a liquor shop in Raipur, Uttarakhand. Okay. For trading of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Next para. Since supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption in Uttarakhand is a non-taxable supply. Okay. Rishabh Enterprises is not required to obtain registration with respect to the same in Uttarakhand. Okay. In this air conditioned restaurant in Maharashtra and liquor shop in Uttarakhand, though unregistered, shall be treated as a establishment of distinct persons. Supply by Maharashtra office to Uttarakhand office in the course or furtherance of business, even without consideration, will qualify as a supply. That means Rishabh has one registration in Maharashtra and he has one more unit in Raipur, but in that they are supplying only liquor. But liquor is alcoholic liquor for human consumption is not a non-taxable supply. So for Raipur he is not liable to be registered. Even though not liable to be registered, any supplies made by Virar Maharashtra unit to the unit located in Raipur shall be treated as a supply even without consideration. That means any supplies made by Maharashtra unit to Raipur unit shall be treated as a supply. Even the Raipur unit is not registered, it shall be treated as a supply because these two are distinct persons. These two are distinct persons under one establishment, but these two are distinct persons. Any supplies made by one distinct person, any supplies made between the distinct persons shall be treated as a supply even without consideration. Next example. Jumru Associate received legal consultancy service from its head office located in Malaysia. The head office has rendered such services free of cost to its branch office. It is nothing but importation of service. Importation of services for a consideration is always taxable. Without consideration, if it is received from a related person or any of his establishment located outside India, shall be taxable even without consideration. Yeah, the concept I am informing you. Okay, I can read the problem. Jumru Associate received legal consultancy services from its head office located in Malaysia. The head office has rendered such services free of cost to its branch office. Since Jumru Associate has the head office or related person, services received by Jumru Associated will qualify as a supply even though the head office has not charged anything. That means without consideration, if it is received from a related person, it shall be taxable. It is import of service. It is without consideration. It is received from related undertakings. Then it will be qualified as a supply. Therefore, accordingly, GST will be payable on such amount. Got? Okay. Chakmak, a proprietor registered in Delhi, has sought architectural services from his son located in US with respect to his newly constructed house in Delhi. Although the services have been received by Chakmak without consideration from his son, a related person, yet it will not qualify as a supply since the same has been received in the course of, has not been received in the course or furtherance of business. It is clearly mentioned. It is only any person. It is importation of service. It is it is received from his son, but it is not in the course or furtherance of business. So it is one concept problem. The services has been received by Champak without consideration from his son, a related person, yet it will not qualify as a supply. The same has not been received in the course or furtherance of business. If it is not in the course of business, then it will not qualify as a supply. Then Raghubir Fabrics transfers 1,000 shirts from his factory located in Lucknow to his retail showroom in Delhi. That is, one unit manufacturing fabrics located in Lucknow and transfer such 100,000 shirts to Delhi. These are two states only. The factory and retail showroom of fabrics, Raghubir Fabrics, are registered in the states in which they are located. So these two units are located. These two units obtained registrations under GST. So if any, these are two distinct persons. Any supplies made between the distinct persons without consideration shall be treated as a supply. That means Raghubir is transferring 1,000 shirts from Lucknow to Delhi. That means these two are distinct persons. Supplies made between these two distinct persons and without consideration. So it is treated as a supply. Answer I can read. They are treated as a establishment of distinct person, although no consideration is charged. Supply of goods from factory to retail showroom constitute a supply. Yes. Next example. Raghubir Fabrics transfers 1,000 shirts from his factory located in Lucknow to his retail showroom in Kanpur so that the same can be sold from there. It has taken one registration in the state of Uttar Pradesh, declaring Lucknow factory as the principal place of business and Kanpur as its additional place of business. Here, in the same state they are transferring. One registration would be enough for one state. So Lucknow they have taken one registration. They have one more branches in Lucknow state. They are transferring from manufacturing unit to factory to branch for selling of such 1,000 t-shirts. If any sales happen within the same state and under one registration, that means Raghubir has taken one registration in the same state, he is supplying to his branch located in the same state. It shall not be treated as a supply. Why? Because there is no consideration and also one registration. From his one registration he is selling such he is sending such goods. Suppose Raghubir Fabric Kanpur is separately registered other than this factory, then it is a distinct person. If any surplus made between these two shall be taxable even without consideration. But in the given case, only one registration taken for factory as well as a Kanpur showroom. So in such a case, they are not treated as a supply. I can read the answer now. Since no consideration is charged, supply of goods from factory to retail showroom in the same state under single registration does not constitute a supply. That means one supply between in one state and he has he has taken one registration for factory as well as showroom. So any supplies between this factory and showroom shall not be treated as a supply. Suppose Raghubir Fabrics factory is registered separately and showroom is separately registered, then any supplies made between these two shall be treated as a supply even without consideration. But in the given case, it shall not be constituted as a supply. Okay. The above clarification can be understood with the following, with the help of the following. Okay. Anmol appoints Bolu to procure certain goods from the market. Bolu identified various suppliers who can provide the goods as desired by Anmol, okay, and asked the supplier to send goods and issue the invoice directly to Anmol. That means Anmol appoints one agent, Bolu, to procure certain goods from the market. Then Bolu went to the market, identified very good products as required by the Anmol. Then this Bolu has informed the supplier to send the goods directly to the Anmol and issue the invoice directly to the Anmol. In such a case, Boli only acting as a procurement agent. Boli is not taking any goods. He is not taking invoice. He is only helping the Hanbol. So he is no way involved himself in supply or receipt of goods. In such a case, Bolu is not treated as a agent. I can read now. Anmol appoints Bolu to procure certain goods from the market, and Bolu identified various suppliers who can provide the goods as desired by Anmol, and ask the supplier Bolu to send the goods and issue the invoice directly to Anmol. In this scenario, Bolu is only acting as the procurement agent, and he has in no way involved himself in the supply or receipt of goods. Hence, in accordance with the provisions of this act, Bolu is not an agent of Anmol for supply of goods. That means Anmol is asking Bolu to verify certain goods. Then he went to the market, he select certain goods and ask the supplier to send the goods directly to the Anmol and directly issue the invoice to the principal. In such a case, he is not acting anything. Suppose if the agent has received a goods from the principal and invoice has been raised in the name of agent, in such a case it shall be treated as a supply. But here only Anmol and Bolu act as the agent, so he shall not be treated as an agent in this case. I think you understand. Second case. Message Tintin, a banking company, appoints Mandar, auctioneer, to auction certain goods. The auctioneer arrange for the auction and identify the potential bidders. Okay, banking company, for want of auction, they appoints Mandar to auction certain goods. The highest bid is accepted and the goods are sold to the highest bidder by Mrs. Tintin, that is banking company. The invoice for the supply of goods is issued by Tintin banking company to the successful bidder. Okay. In this scenario, the auctioneer merely providing the auctioneer services, who is no role played in the supply of goods. Even in this scenario also, Mandar is not an agent. That means banking company appoints the auctioneer to auction certain goods. So in such a case, the Mandar is helping the Tintin company for the purpose of auction. He shall not taken the goods. The invoice is not raised on the name of the agent, and afterwards the agent is supplying goods to the successful bidder. Directly, Tintin banking company directly issue the supply of goods, directly supplying the goods to the auctioneer, the successful bidder, and invoice for the same is also given directly to the bidder. So in such a case, Mandar is not treated as a agent. If suppose Mandar is taking such goods and Tintin banking company has raised invoice on the name of agent, and afterwards agent is selling such goods to some successful bidder, in such a case Mandar is treated as agent. But in this scenario, Mandar is not an agent because the goods directly sold to the successful bidder and invoice directly raised to the successful bidder. I think you understand. Okay, next. Gautam, an artist, appoints Gambhir, auctioneer, to auction his painting. He is an artist of painting. He appoints Mr. Gambhir to auction his painting. Gambhir arranges for the auction and identify the potential bidders. The highest bid is accepted and painting is sold to the highest bidder. The invoice for the supply of the painting is issued by the Gambhir on the behalf of the Gautam, but in his own name, and the painting is delivered to the successful bidder. That means invoice is raised by the Gautam to the Gambhir, from Gambhir to the successful bidder. In this scenario, Gambhir is not merely providing the auction service, but is also supplying the painting on behalf of the Gautam to the bidder, and has authority to transfer the title of painting on behalf of the Gautam. In this scenario, the Gambhir is treated as agent. I am clearly explaining. Gautam is an artist. He is a painting artist. He is appointing Gambhir to auction his painting. In such a case, first Gautam may send the goods to Gambhir, and Gautam is selling such painting or to some other person. So in such a case, Gumby is issuing the invoice to the successful bidder, the agent. In such a case, Gumby is treated as an agent. Understand? Okay. Next, a C&F agent or commission agent takes the possession of the goods from the principal and issue the invoice in his own name. That means he has taken the possession and he is issuing the invoice in his own name. In his own name he is issuing. That is, in his own name means in agent name. In agent name they are issuing the invoice. In such cases, the C&F commission agent is an agent of the principal and for the supply of goods in terms of para 3 of schedule 1. The disclosure, non-disclosure of the name of the principal is immaterial in such situation. That means a C&F agent is appointed, he has taken the portion of the goods and issue invoice in his name. If the invoice is issued in principal name, then he is not an agent. But in this case, he has taken the possession of the goods and he is issued invoice in his name. In such a case, C&F agent shall be treated as an agent of the principal. Understand? Okay. Scenario 5. Ravi sells agricultural produce by utilizing the services of Kavi, who is a commission agent as per the agriculture producing committee of the state. Ravi sells agriculture produce by utilizing the services of Kavi. Ravi is selling agriculture produce but he has taken the services of Kavi. Kavi identifies the buyer and sells the agricultural produce on behalf of the Ravi, for which he charges commission from Ravi. Okay, Kavi is arranging some operations arrangement he is doing. As per APMC Act, the commission agent is a person who buys or sells his agricultural produce on behalf of the principal or facilitate buying and selling the agricultural produce on behalf of the principals and receives by way of remuneration a commission or a percentage upon the amount involved in such a transaction. In such cases, where the invoice is issued to the Ravi by Ravi to the buyer, the farmer is an agent covered under para 3 of the schedule 1. However, in the case where the invoice is directly issued by Ravi to buyer, the commission does not fall under the category of agent. That means, if invoice is raised by the agent to the buyer, then agent is treated as an agent under this case. If in the present case, directly Ravi sells the goods and Ravi has issued invoice directly to the buyer. In such a case, Kavi is not treated as an agent. All these scenarios are examples I have taken totally from CA study material. In my regular classes, I have taken so many examples on my own and RTP and MCQ question from ICA I have taken. But in this only I have taken only CA study material examples. Then schedule 2 activities. We already discussed the schedule 2 specifies the classification whether a particular transaction is a supply of goods or supply of services. Now one by one we are going to discuss right now. Any transfer in title of goods, here itself it is a goods mentioned. It is a supply of goods. Example, Shivaji sells ready-made garments to customer. He is selling garments, that is goods only. So it is a supply of goods. Any transfer of right in goods, undivided share in goods without transfer of title in goods. That means, example, Genius Equipment Limited gives a machinery on rent to Suhasi manufacturer. That means they are given, it is a rent. Rent means always it is a supply of service only. Third one, any transfer of title in goods under an arrangement with stipulates that property shall pass at a future date. That means I have purchased a tractor under hire purchase system. So when the tractor will be transferred on payment of last installment. So tractor it is a goods. It is a supply of goods only. Example, Dhruva Capitals supplied goods on hire purchase basis to customers. Dhruva Capital supplied goods on hire purchase basis. It is a supply of goods. Optima Manufacturer supplies toys to retailer on sale or return basis. It is a supply. It is a twice. Twice means it's a supply of goods only. Next. Any lease, tenancy, easement, license to occupy land. This is only supply service. It is only lease or tenancy. I have my land. I have given on rent for some other purpose. It is a supply service. I am not selling the land. I am only supplying service. It is only rental. So it is a supply service. Any lease or letting out of building, including a commercial, industrial, or residential complex for business or commerce, wholly or partly. If any building is partly given on rent or wholly given on rent, it is a supply of rent. Example, a shop let out in a busy market area. Okay. Any treatment or process which is applied to another person's goods, that is job work. Job work itself, it is a supply of services as per schedule. This schedule 2. Any job work, it is a supply of service only. Example, Damani dyeing house dyes the cloths given by Shubham Textiles on job work basis. They want to do some dyeing work on the cloths. It is a job work. Once it is a job work, it is a supply of service only. Then, goods forming part of business assets are transferred or disposed of by under the direction of person carrying on the business. So, as no longer to form part of those assets, whether or not for consideration. It is business assets are transferred. Where any business assets are transferred on the direction of third person, it is a supply of goods only. Then next one. Goods held or used for business or put to private use or made available to any person for use and for any purpose other than the business by or under direction of a person carrying on the business, whether or not for concession. It is only use of such service. Once if it is use of such service, it is a supply of service only. Example, Arunodaya, a sole proprietor, owns a laptop used for making office presentation. He transfers said laptop to his son for making school project. For making school project, he is given his laptop to his son. After that, he is taking such laptop back. In such a situation, it is only supply of service. He is not transferring ownership rights. He is only use of such laptop for some time. It is only supply of service only. Goods forming part of assets. Any goods forming part of assets of any business carried on by a person who ceases to be a taxable person shall be deemed to be surplused by him in the course or furtherance of business immediately before he ceases to be a taxable person. That means, or example, for a better understanding, first we read the example. Already a trader is winding up his business. Any goods left in stock shall be deemed to be supplied made by him. That means, if any business is discontinued, any stock is left, it shall be treated as a supply of goods only. Okay. Some exceptions are there for that one. Business is transferred as a going concern to another person. Business is carried on by personal representative who is deemed to be a taxable person. Okay. Next one. Renting of immovable property. Renting of immovable property, whether it is a commercial property, renting of premises, or renting of property for an educational purpose, anything, it is a supply of services only. Rent itself, it is a supply because ownership is not transferring. It is only for the purpose of use we are given on rent basis. So it is only supply of service. Then, construction of complex building civil structure. Construction of any complex building civil structure before issuance of completion certificate. If the building construction work is going on before issuance of completion certificate, it shall be treated as a supply of service. After that, it shall not be treated as a supply. I can read. Construction of a complex building, civil structure or a part thereof, including a complex or building intended for sale to a buyer, wholly or partly, except where the entire consideration has been received after the issuance of completion certificate, where required by the competent authority or after its first occupation, whichever is earlier. That means, if I am selling, for a builder is selling property, one flat, before issuance of completion certificate, it is a supply of service. And any consideration is received after issuance of completion certificate and the building is sold after issuance of completion certificate, there is not a supply. It is not a supply. If it is before issuance of completion certificate, any consideration is received, or then it is treated as a supply of service. Example. Rati Builders has constructed individual resident units for agreed consideration of 1.2 crore per unit. 90 lakhs per unit were received before issuance of completion certificate by the competent authority and the balance after completion. Even a single rupee is received before the issuance of completion certificate, it is treated as a supply service. Total consideration is received after issuance of completion certificate, then it shall not be treated as a supply. Got? Okay. Next, some problem is there, I think. Okay. Any architectural service, it is a supply service. Any chartered engineer services, here. Any architect service, it is a supply of service. A chartered engineer service, it is a supply of service. And any surveyor service, it is a supply of service, because ownership is not transferring, is only supplying services, only providing services. Next, temporary transfer of permitting use for enjoyment of any intellectual property. Suppose brand, the brand is using for some purpose for some period, it is only temporary transfer of patents, then it is a supply of services. Next, development, design, programming, customization, adoption, upgradation, enhancement, implementation of IT software, development of software, and programming of some languages, customization, so software solution, all these relates to supply of services only. Then agreeing to an obligation to refrain from an act or tolerance to an act situation, to that means not to do such work. Cable operator, late delivery charges recovered from the supplier for non-fulfillment of contract within the stipulated period. Notice pay recovered from the employer for leaving the job before agreed period of notice for leaving job. It is a supply of service only. Next, transfer of right to use any goods for any purpose, that is machinery given and hire. It is also supply of service. Then supply of goods by an unincorporated persons or a body of persons to a member thereof for cash or deferment for a payment or other valuable consideration. Example, Resident Welfare Association of Sanskriti Society supplies air condition to its members on a concessional price. That means this association is transferring the air conditioners to its members. That is, ownership is transferring. Ownership of air conditioner is transferred to its members. Is a supply of goods only. Next, Schedule 3. What is the Schedule 1? There are three schedules: Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3. Schedule 1 means activities shall be treated as a supply even if made without consideration. Schedule 2 shall be classified as a supply of goods or supply of service. Schedule 3, activities or transactions. Actually, these transactions shall be carried out by the government or central government or state government or local authority. Hmm? The activities or transactions which shall be treated neither as a supply of goods nor as a supply of services, that is non-GST payable, that is a negative list. One by one we are discussing. Services by an employee to employer in the course or relation to his employee, in relation to his employment. If an employee is providing services to employer, that is in the course of employment, it is not a supply. But any gift received by the employer to employee in excess of 50,000, it shall be treated as a supply and tax shall be payable. But one more concept, if any employee is providing services to the associate company of such company, he is working under XYZ company, but he is now he is providing services to associate company of such XYZ company, then it shall be treated as a supply, then GST shall be payable. But during the employment, if any employee is providing service to the employer, it shall not be treated as a supply. Second one, services by any court or tribunal established under any law for the time being in course, any Supreme Court, any Supreme Court, High Court, District Court, Session Courts, if these courts are providing any services, they are not treated as a supply of services. Then third one, the functions performed by, if any MLA or MPs or members of Panchayati, members of municipality providing services, they are not treated as a services. MLA, MPs, Panchayati members and these municipality members providing any service, it shall not be treated as a supply. Then duties performed by any person who holds any post in pursuance of the provisions of the constitution in that capacity. Next, the duties performed by any person as a chairperson or a member or a director in a body established by the central government, state government or a local authority who is not deemed to be an employee before the commencement of this clause. That means any committees is formed by the state government or central government, and that chairmen or members are there. So the service of such members or chairmen are not treated as a supply of service or supply of goods. But that means Rangarajan committee, some Kishore committees, and or any other committee appointed by the state government, it shall not be treated as a supply of service. If the members or chairmen are providing service to that committee, they are not treated as a supply. Then services of funeral, burial, crematorium or mortuary, including the transportation of deceased. That means any person died. Services related to death person, relating to funeral, burial, or cremation or any mortuary, or including the transportation of some deceased, it shall not be treated as a supply. Then sale of land. Sale of land is not at all supply, but sale of building before issuance of completion certificate shall be treated as a supply. Sale of building after issuance of completion certificate shall not be treated as a supply. That is the only thing. Sale of land subject to clause B, subject to clause B of paragraph 5 of schedule 2, that is issuance of completion certificate. Actionable claims other than lottery, betting, gambling. Actionable claim means house, home, that is rent recovery, insurance claims, like that. Actionable claims means other than lottery, betting, gambling. But lottery, betting, gambling shall be considered as a supply. Then supply of goods from a place in the non-taxable territory to another place in non-taxable territory without such goods are entering into India. Suppose the goods are moving from China to USA, that is a non-taxable territory to a non-taxable territory. It is not treated as a supply without such goods are entering into India. Such goods are not entering India, it shall not be treated as a supply. So it is in a negative list. Next. Supply of warehoused goods to any person before clearance for home consumption. Any goods cleared before home consumption Supply warehoused goods to any person before clearance for home consumption. Supply goods by consignee to any other person by endorsement of document of title goods after the goods have been dispatched from the port of origin located outside India, but before clearance for consumption. Any goods before clearance for home consumption shall not be treated as a supply of goods or services. And one more notification, the notification number 14/2017. Services by way of any activity in relation to functions entrusted to Panchayat under Article 243G of the Constitution or to a municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution shall be treated neither as a supply of goods nor as a supply of any services by way of any activity in relation to functions entrusted to any activity entrusted to a Panchayati or any functions or activities entrusted to a municipality shall not be treated as a supply of goods or services. Okay. Now we can end up to this one. Tomorrow we are going to discuss composite supply and mixed supply. Thank you.